Labour really are communists, aren't they? I mean, it's been labelled, but they just prove it time and time again. Yet again, Labour have made a new shutdown statement today on Monday, and that has infuriated the whole of Parliament. Before we get into it, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and join our fast-growing community. Labour is set to block a vote on cancelling pensioners' winter fuel allowance in Parliament. This week it has been announced on Monday in a new shutdown threat. As a result, this is prompting fury from across the benches and within the party itself. Chancellor Rachel Reeves has hailed the controversial paring back of the payments as the right choice in order to fill the so-called black hole in public finances after 14 years of Tory rule. Writing in The Observer, Reeves said, "They were not the choices I wanted to make or expected to make, but they were the right choices to put our country on a firmer footing." And the Leader of the Commons, Lucy Powell, claimed that if the payments, expected to save taxpayers some £1.5 billion annually, were kept in place, Britain could be forced to endure a run on the pound. Despite both Conservatives and Lib Dems urging ministers to consider holding a parliamentary vote on axing the payments, government insiders have shut down the idea. Across the benches, MPs say the scale of the winter fuel cuts mean the measures should be given airtime in the Commons. But a government source said succinctly, "We are not going to do that." Shadow Treasury Minister Laura Trott slated the plans to push through the allowance cuts, saying, "This simply shows how desperate the Labour government is to run from responsibility for the tax rises they always planned but hid from the public during the election." After handing billions in inflation-busting pay rises to their union paymasters, no one believes Labour's Chicken Little strategy. They should stop trying to deceive the public with ridiculous fantasies and instead have the courage to let Parliament debate cuts to winter fuel payments for the sake of those pensioners who will lose out thanks to the decisions of this government. The plans to axe the payments, despite the fact they'll be kept open to pensioners taking home less than just under £1,000 per month, have seen wide-ranging condemnation, not least at the hands of Age UK, which has written to the Chancellor in a push to make her reconsider, and whose petition has reached almost 500,000 signatures. Labour's own Rachel Maskell, MP for York Central, and chairman of the all-party parliamentary group for ageing and older people, said, "This is not going to go away. The government cannot run away from it. They are really trying to be a nanny state, aren't they? Ha." Following this, former Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn has joined forces with 4 pro-Gaza independent MPs to form a new left-wing bloc in Parliament. The so-called Independent Alliance, comprising of Corbyn, Ayub Khan, Iqbal Mohammed, Shaukat Adam and Adnan Hussein, has already taken aim at the government for paring back pensioners' winter fuel allowance and its record of handing out licences for weapons sales to Israel. In a statement released on Monday afternoon, the quintet claimed they were elected to provide hope in a parliament of despair and issued an open invitation to other MPs who believe in a more equal and peaceful world. While the alliance has not gone all the way to forming a party, its 5 members put it, as a bloc, on par with reform in Parliament, despite receiving less than 10% of Farage's party's votes at the general election. The group has said it hopes that by joining together, the 5 MPs will be given more time in Parliament to ask questions and join in debates, but no formal agreement has yet been made to let this happen. A spokesperson for Commons Speaker Lindsay Hoyle said a letter had been received, but remained tight-lipped on whether the new group's organisation would have any bearing on time allocated in Parliament. The group's statement read, "We were elected by our constituents to provide hope in a parliament of despair." Already, this government has scrapped the winter fuel allowance for around 10 million pensioners, voted to keep the 2-child benefits cap, and ignored calls to end arms sales to Israel. Millions of people are crying out for a real alternative to austerity, inequality and war, and their voices deserve to be heard. As individuals, we were voted by our constituents to represent their concerns in Parliament on these matters, and more, and we believe that as a collective group we can carry on doing this with greater effect. The more MPs who are prepared to stand up for these principles, the better. Our door is always open to other MPs who believe in a more equal and peaceful world. I hate Jeremy Corbyn. He's also a communist and terrorist sympathiser. In other news, a Ukrainian refugee understood to be on the run from British police attempted to cross the English Channel to France in a kayak on Sunday. It has emerged. The on-the-run kayaker was initially spotted by a member of the public off the south coast of England, and lifeboats rushed to sea to find him, but to no avail. As the refugee reached the middle of the stretch of water, he was picked up by the Martial Art, a geographic survey vessel whose crew spotted him paddling towards their boat. The Martial Art had been in French waters at the time. As a result, the Ukrainian was taken to Calais, where he was dealt with by local authorities. A conversation between the research vessel and both British and French coastguards, as they tried to work out what was happening, has since been revealed by the Telegraph. In the recording, a crewmate on board the Martial Art can be heard calling up coastguards in Dover to ask whether they knew of any kayakers doing anything that has been arranged. The Martial Art continued, "We have just spotted a kayaker roughly 300 to 400 meters off our stern. We are quite a long way off and in the middle of the channel. In this weather, I am not sure if he intends to be here." In response, coastguards back in Dover said they weren't aware of any such activity and asked whether crew had seen any signs of distress. The survey boat said, "None yet, but he is making quite a direct course for our vessel, so I would guess he is looking for help," adding that the refugee was working rather hard to get close to the Martial Art. Once he had been pulled aboard, the Martial Art told Dover Coast Guard that the Ukrainian was asking not to be arrested, saying, "I suspect what he wants to do is, after arrest, get back on his kayak." He is unclear about his destination. He was asking for directions to France. He has come on board for a rest and a drink, but he has expressed concern that we may arrest him. Maritime sources told the Telegraph the Ukrainian was on the run from police back in the UK, but the nature of any potential offence remains unclear. Reports of the attempted kayak crossing to France come as the number of small boats travelling in the other direction has surpassed a fresh milestone. We revealed just days ago that 7,000 small boat migrants have crossed the English Channel in the 8 weeks since Labour came to power. Though the PM has doubled down on his pledge to smash the gangs involved in the people smuggling trade. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comment section below. I would like to take this moment to thank you all for the recent support on the channel. We're getting closer to 60,000 subscribers, and therefore getting closer to our big target of 100,000 subscribers. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you. Take care. Goodbye.